I am a merchant mariner, and it's my hope tonight that I can explain to you what that means and why shipping and the Port of Seattle is important to you. Simply put, merchant mariners are civilians like myself that work on commercial vessels. Now, I know what you're thinking. No, we don't all look like this guy. We are average, your normal next-door neighbors. In fact, there are 69,000 mariners here in the United States. We typically work in one of three departments on board the ship. There are the stewards that help provide the crew with food. There's the engineers that manage the ship's propulsion plant. And then there's folks like me. I work in the deck department, and we're in charge of the safe navigation of the vessel, all of the safety equipment on board, and we also take care of the ship's cargo. And yes, we still use sextants on board ships. Mariners are qualified to work on a variety of ships, everything from tugboats to tankers, car ships to container ships. And one thing that I love about going to sea for a living is I've been able to literally travel the whole world. This is one of my old ships, the Midnight Sun. She's 855 feet long and designed to carry tractor trailers. Here you see her in the beautiful port of Anchorage, Alaska. I've ridden this ship and many ships to all sorts of foreign and exotic ports. Now, ships like this one and the Midnight Sun have fairly small crews. In fact, the Midnight Sun had a crew of 23, which means we often do many jobs. As a chief officer, I'm responsible for the ship's stability. I'm also called upon to be the ship's medical officer with EMT-like qualifications. I'm also the ship's security officer, as well as being in charge of the cargo, all of our safety equipment, and a couple of other things. Now, being a merchant mariner gives me a lot of unique opportunities. It also provides me with a fabulous living wage. In fact, I was making six figures by the age of 25 without a bachelor's degree. There's also a lot of job stability, and there's a lot of long-term career options. A lot of mariners go from working at sea to shoreside maritime jobs. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how does this apply to you, landlubbers here in the crowd? And it applies to you because ships move 90% of all goods. Ships are also one of the greenest ways to move cargo. It takes a ship 1 gallon of fuel to move 1 ton of cargo 600 miles. And when I say that ships move 90% of all goods, I mean 90% of everything. Your cell phone, your car, your hoodie, your sneakers, it came on a ship. And that makes us really unique here in Seattle because we've got a port in our own backyard. In fact, our port is the 10th largest container port in North America, the 8th largest in the US, and we are the largest port, period, in the state of Washington. The Port of Seattle brings in a little over 21,000 direct jobs. Now, for a point of comparison, Microsoft has about 3,500 employees. So we're up there in terms of what we provide to our local economy. It's also $2.5 billion in revenue, which provides a lot of direct and indirect and induced jobs as well. And along with that revenue comes, of course, all of the taxes. Ships produce and contribute to our state, local, and city economy a huge tax base. Now, if you wanted to take just a small portion of the industry to kind of have an understanding of how big the effect is, the cruise ship industry alone that operates between May and September brings in almost $330 million each year. That's pretty significant for our local economy, for our state economy, and for our national economy. Now, shipping is an international industry, and in fact, Filipino mariners make up the largest single constituency of crews. In fact, about 1 out of every 5 crew members is Filipino. So tonight, I'd like to call upon you to help support my fellow seafarers, to support those in the Philippines by donating to the Sailor Society, the Mission to Seafarers, or the Filipino Red Cross. Hopefully, you've gotten a sense of how impactful the maritime industry is on our local economy, and you keep an eye out for us when you're out in your boats and when you see us in the port. Thank you.